Welcome traders, I am Adam Harris, Chief Master Analyst. Let's have a look at which markets will be moving over this coming week. I'm using Sabiotrade's native platform here. Sabiotrade specializes in helping traders scale up their capital access through a wide variety of tailored account solutions. The platform provides a wider range of instruments and asset classes to choose from, and you can access a discounted membership using the affiliate link in this video's description. Keep in mind that they value nurturing new and seasoned traders' talents and potential and helping them access much-needed capital, among other things. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is establish what is happening with the US dollar. So just take a look here at euro dollar. Of course, keeping in mind, by the way, that the dollar itself is about 60% of the currency market, and it's about 90% of all the transactions on the planet once you include commodities, cryptos, and equities. Now, we can see here, and this is key, we've got a nice little correction here on euro dollar and a very messy kind of upside down head and shoulders or double bottom, depending on which way you want to look at it. The key thing here is we started to break high. We've got a confirmed uptrend on the 4 hour. If we have a look at it from a daily perspective, today is a relatively decent day here. We can actually see the market is starting to push and close higher. Again, if you have a look at it from a weekly perspective, there's something significant happening here. We could see that we have a very nice uptrend on euro dollar, and we are currently forming a very nice bullish candle here. The likelihood being that if we close this way and tomorrow we break the high, we're likely to see another leg up on euro dollar. Let's go compare that. Let's have a look at GBP USD. The next thing I'd like you to see here is, again, similar to euro dollar, we've actually started to move to the upside. We have a confirmed uptrend on the 4 hour. We've broken this downward sloping trend line. Let me put that in for you quickly. Most importantly, you'll see that I'm not connected to price because trend lines traditionally aren't really used the correct way. What I'm really using this here is as a line in the sand. We've started to break up. We're breaking above the highs here, and we have definitely breached this downward sloping trend line. So the momentum is now above that 50-period moving average. We have become more bullish than bearish. Let's go and have a look at it from another direction. Let's have a look at dollar yen. So dollar yen is quite capable of doing its own thing, but I would note here, looking at it on the daily, it is definitely having a bit of a correction. Overall, I'm still bullish on the yen pairs, but you can see we're clearly experiencing a move to the downside, and that is being pushed largely by the dollar. Let's have a look at it on the 4 hour time frame. You can see here coming back to test this potential level of resistance as support. So we'll be keeping an eye on this level this week to see if the yen itself can find some support in this area and potentially move back up to the upside. I'll talk about the yen crosses in a moment. Let's have a look at dollar CAD. So dollar CAD now in a confirmed downtrend on that 4 hourly, supporting the idea of a weaker dollar, also moving underneath that 50-period moving average. And we can see the MACD also starting to trend lower. So this is a very nice strong downtrend, again, driven by that US dollar. Dollar Swissy on the daily here, ladies and gentlemen, potentially one of the nicer trends coming this way. We can see a nice pullback into the moving averages, the 50, the 20, and the 10 fanning out, the MACD trending lower. Let's have a look at this on the 4 hour. Let's go down to that lower time frame. And again, here you can see price producing. Let me just correct that so we can see we've got that possibility of a nice bear flag setting up. Let me draw in that line in the sand as well. I want to make sure that we do cross it. I want to see us breach it and starting to head lower. So that'll be an additional confirmation once we start to dip below this. What does this really mean? It means that for those day traders and potentially for swing traders, we could be provided with some nice trend trading opportunities this week. And it's Monday, so that looks pretty good. Let's move on and have a look at the rest of the yen pairs. So Euro Yen and Swiss Yen have been some of the best trending charts at the moment. They're pulling back into the moving averages, and there's a very high probability that these trends will tend to continue. But I must just point out that from a weekly perspective, they're potentially overdue for a little bit of a correction back down towards the moving averages. They're very, very strong at the moment. So I'll be cautiously optimistic on these, looking to see if they do a small retracement or whether they do a bigger correction. So monitoring it here, we've got some very clear bearish divergence. We've got price going sideways now. So what am I looking for in the shorter term? I'm looking for the possibility here of price to break and do a correction to the downside from the daily, back down, potentially back down towards the moving averages. And then ultimately later on in the week, let's go back up to the daily so that this makes more sense to you. Later on in the week, I'm expecting it to potentially become set up and go long again. So that means that at the minimum, I expect that we could have a correction down towards 170, possibly a little bit further down towards 165, and then ultimately to set up and go long by the end of the week. That would be, I think, a relatively fair expectation. Swiss yen expecting the same thing from it. Really, the weekly is going to be a bit of a guide at this point. The weekly here looking for a bit of a correction down towards maybe 180 again, and then possibly setting up bullishly in the near future. The market is very, very bullish at the moment. So we could, in fact, possibly even this week experience a correction and then finish higher and have that daily ready to go higher. So if I do see that set up, if I see it correct and get ready, I will I'll update this video later on in the week. Aussie yen, looking at these from a daily perspective, I really do like the overall look, but I can see here that yen is starting to get ready to have a bit of a correction. We've got a very nice uptrend, a beautiful little pullback into the level here. To test resistance for support would be amazing. So again, this week, a couple of days down, possibly setting up and finishing the week higher, we'll see. Kiwi yen will be exactly the same. Again, on that daily here, looking for this to potentially find support in this area, and then looking for it to attempt to move higher. We've got a consolidation here, so very possible that we might continue sideways for a little bit longer. Let's have a look at this on the weekly and just see if we're due for a correction. Overall, I still think that Kiwi yen is looking very good and very much deserves a move higher, but that doesn't mean it will. We might actually find that it has a correction down towards 87. Let's go back to that daily just to see how that then changes the picture. And here we go. We could see that possibly the market might head back down towards these lows here. So far, right now, the yen pair is looking as though they're getting ready for a bit of a deeper correction, driven largely by that weekly time frame. But some of them are looking very nice and bullish, and those corrections might be short-lived. So let's continue. Let's have a look at gold. So gold is currently breaking out of resistance. That's very nice to see that actually happen. Let me put my level in there. So very nice to see it kind of breaking up through that 3360 level. However, it is likely to encounter some resistance as it heads towards that 3.4 level. And overall, it is still stuck within the wedge. Shorter term, it is looking nice and bullish, nice little breakout. Medium term, we still have some key levels to reckon with, but I would say the MACD looks nice and flat, and I am bullish on gold at the moment. The nice little surprise is silver. Silver has actually been trending better than gold. Recently, you can see it's got a very nice trend on the daily, nice consolidation, breakout, pullback, and a continuation up. But it isn't just that. When we look at silver from a higher time frame perspective, silver has a much greater upside potential. All right, if we look at the history here, we've got much more upside potential. It's been higher than $40 before. We're not that overextended, so I do think that silver could be of interest if we see it starting. Let's just go and have a look and see if I get more time than that. No, I don't. But I am expecting here to see silver continue to move high. And from a day trading perspective, it is producing some very, very nice trends today. Nice little winning trade on a break to the upside. I'm expecting pullbacks. I'll continue to trade this week. Normally, silver does not trend as well as gold. All right, gold is usually a lot smoother if you look at it over here compared to silver during that same period. Just not the same thing. But this week, tail end of last week and this week, silver looks like it's joining the game, and there could really be some opportunities there. Let's have a quick look at crude oil. Crude oil overall not really offering a lot. All right, if we kind of have a look at it from a higher time frame perspective, the market is just not really, it seems to have lost its appeal. It's generally slipping lower. It's currently been in a bit of a double bottom and pushing higher. So it's got a bit of a shorter term uptrend within the longer term downtrend. But overall, it's not really offering anything attractive. If we have a look in the past, it has also had some great trends here. We've had some good periods where the markets have trended very nicely, but it hasn't been that appealing for traders for quite a while now, and I'm not seeing anything at this time. Let's move along and have a look at a digital commodity, Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I am still bullish on. All right, if we step back and have a look at it from a monthly perspective, we've got a very nice monthly uptrend, very nice and healthy, potentially reaching a bit of an overextended stage. So at some point we might get a bit of a pullback, but I'm still bullish on it even within that stage. We have a look at it from a weekly perspective. You can see here that we've just had a really nice breakout, possibly slowing down a little bit. Could we have a breakout and a retest of resistance as support? Absolutely. That's a very nice possibility. As I said, in principle, I'm still bullish on this. I expect this trend to continue for some time. And overall, the MACD is trending higher. So we might have a short-term pullback. But you know what? Then again, when I go back and have a look at it on the daily, we've just started to break up through this bit of a bull flag. So just keep an eye on this. We've got a bit of a wedge forming here as well. So it's similar to gold in that perspective. We might find, in fact, that they actually break out at similar points. So keeping an eye on that. Let's have a look and just see how this ultimately plays out. But again, I'm still principally bullish on Bitcoin, not seeing too much degradation or weakness in it. Still looks nice and bullish. Might want to come back and test this, and then we'll deal with it from that point onwards. Let's see if it breaks to this level of support. But otherwise, I was expecting more of a bullish outbreak at this point in time. And now having a look at the global indices. So the Dow, it is sitting near all-time highs, but it's also continuing to look nice and bullish. Let's go back down. Let's have a look at it from a daily perspective. And you can actually see today it's working very, very hard here to break upwards from this. So whether you see this as an inverted head and shoulders, or whether you see this as a bull flag, this market is continuing to print higher highs. Looks pretty good now. It actually looks like it's starting a move to the upside there. Let's compare that to the S&P. S&P also having a relatively good time where we are at the moment. Let's go back to that daily, and you can see here this actually forming a nice consolidation and a breakout to the upside there. Nice consolidation, sideways, and a bit of a move to the upside. So if we continue like this, we should be able to see a little bit more. I'm dealing with this on a week-by-week basis. I'm not saying that we can't have massive market corrections, or the tariffs might come in, or the sentiment might change. What I am saying is currently, and for this week, my shorter term view is still bullish to the upside. If we do get some surprise, then we'll deal with that next week. But for this week, these markets continue to look bullish. Look at the NASDAQ as well. Again, let's put that into the daily time frame and have a look at that. Here you can see, again, a nice consolidation and a break higher. Overall, the quality of this trend, the size of the candles, everything about this so far is printing nice and healthy. Let's step away from the US and have a look at the UK. Really nice pullback, continuing to push higher. Let's just check that it is indeed the daily. And again, on the daily here, we're continuing. We've just had a very nice pullback. Again, small candles pushing high. This is the signs. These are signs of a healthy trend, ladies and gentlemen. And then to wrap up, let's have a look. The Russell 2000, which is small cap companies, consolidating now, looks very much as though it is getting ready to break out. So when the smaller ones start to look bullish, they're usually lagging, and this does indeed appear to be the case. All right, come on, move with me. Let me just adjust this quickly. There's our nice little bit of resistance level. Let's have a look as well. When we go away, let's have a look at the DAX. The DAX today also potentially printing a bit of a higher low. We've got a series of high lows again. This looking relatively healthy here. I like the look of this. There's still more upside potential. Let's move away. Let's have a look at the ASX Australia. Also, again, consolidation, a breakout, and a retest. Let me just show you that very nice key level. Nice little break into these highs. Beautiful. Setting up with a bit of a bullish pin bar there as well. Break of the high. This, to me, makes sense that it's going to continue to push higher. And let's finish off with my new favorite, the Hang Seng. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. It has broken up now to a new high, breaking through a level of resistance. The trend overall looking nice and bullish here. It has been turning around for a couple of years. It is now starting to break, create new highs. Again, supporting the idea, ladies and gentlemen, of a bull market and continuing to push higher. So there's lots to have a look at in the market compared to April and May and the first part of June, where it was just absolutely terrible. Right now, we're getting a lot of trends across the market. Whether you are a day trader, intraday trader, whether you're a swing trader or end of day trader, plenty to have a look at. I plan this coming week to produce a video producing some more intraday opportunities. They'll be time sensitive though, but I'll leave you with this. Have a fantastic week.